Hey everyone, welcome back to a late night, Thursday night stream. Couple of things we're going to talk about today is obviously Bitcoin doing pretty good. Miners were up as well today, doing a little bit better than Bitcoin did. So that's all great news for us. We have a bunch of stories about Bitcoin adoption and things like that where you're not bullish enough on those. And Cipher story as well. Cipher got an investment from SoftBank. We'll talk about that. Not much details in the press release, but we'll talk about it nonetheless. Get into the miners, Bitcoin, and all the rest. So should be pretty quick and easy here today, hopefully. Then we'll get into your guys' Q&A as always, but you guys know the drill. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button or smash the like button if you want. Subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin here right now. So Bitcoin had a pretty nice day today. It was up to like 106,000 something, and then it came back down a little bit towards the end of the day. But we finished out at 104,742 and 63 cents. We were up about 1%, 0.963%. So it was an okay day, but the miners had a much better day. The miners did, like almost 6x, 4x, 7x compared to what Bitcoin did today. Bitfarms was up nicely today, 4.17%. I almost forgot. MicroStrategy, for some reason, was down a little bit here today, 0.34% on that one. BitTF was up nicely, 6.13%. Cipher also 4.4%. Cleanspark almost 7% on the day. CORZ was up almost 7% as well. Great movement there on that one. Hive was up 7.32%. HUD8 almost 7% as well. So, I mean, we have a lot of miners that were up quite nicely today compared to Bitcoin. IREN was up just a little bit here, 3.21%. Mara was up 4%. Riot up 6%. And Wolf was almost up 6% as well. Some of the smaller miners did pretty good, except for, I mean, oh my gosh, check out Digihost. Digihost was up huge today, 32%. Don't know why, but it's going up really good. So if you're in that one, you're doing pretty good right now. The only one that was down today was Mawson here, down 8% on the day. Not sure what's going on there either. But the ETFs also had a pretty good day today. BitQ was up 3.7. BKCH was up 5.4. DAP was up 4.9, and WGMI was up 6.3. I own both BitQ and WGMI in my retirement account. So that was good there. What else do we have here that's going on here right now? On it, CAN was up 20% today. Nice bounce back after having, 5 days in the red here. So that one did pretty good here. Kang was up a little bit here, almost 3%. Applied was up 10% also, bouncing a little bit there. Tesla was up 2%. Galaxy was up just a little bit, 0.8%. And then NVIDIA was up just slightly, 0.77%. So overall, not too bad. Let's take a look at the network hash rate here, see how that's trending right now. 7-day average, we are back up to 777 exahash. On the 7-day average, on the 30-day average, what are we looking? We're coming down a little bit here, down to 781. We reached a high here of 790. So we're down about 8 exahash or something like that. So it's not too bad. Bitcoin for the month of November, January is up 11.55%. We got one more day to go. Tomorrow, last day of the month. We'll see where that gets us. Hopefully we don't have anything crazy happening where we have a huge crash. I doubt that's going to be the case, but we're going to be in the green for January, looks like, at least right now. So that's all good there. Bitcoin ETF inflows here. We're still waiting on, IBIT to report from this, from Farsight Investors here. Everything, I mean, we've had 3 nice days of growth, at least positive, right, overall. But we had a nice day today, the 30th, 266. We'll see where IBIT comes in at, if that actually increases it or not. And then let's get into our stories that we do have here. The first one is on Cipher. Cipher Mining announces 50 million PIPE investment from SoftBank Group. I'm not sure what that PIPE is, what that actually means. I have to look it up. I forgot to look it up before I did the live stream here, so I do apologize that. If you guys know what PIPE is, put it down in the comments and we'll talk about it in the Q&A. But Cipher today announced a 50 million investment from SoftBank, one of the world's most prominent investment holding companies. The 50 million PIPE investment will support Cipher's HPC data center development business and establish SoftBank as a significant primary investor in Cipher. So that's great news there. Here's a quote from the CEO. "We are thrilled to welcome SoftBank as an important investor in Cipher. This investment comes at a pivotal moment in Cipher's growth trajectory as the company continues to attract attention for its pipeline of sites and innovative solutions in industrial scale data centers." Big takeaway here is continues to attract attention, but nothing has been signed yet. SoftBank's focus on innovation in technology and AI development aligns with our vision to establish ourselves as a leader in HPC data center development, said Tyler Page, Cipher CEO. So, I mean, that's great. They're getting 50 million, but I mean, realistically, what does 50 million get you? Not much. Not in the data center space or, anything else for that matter. I mean, if you're building on a data center, you're looking at between $8 to $12 million per megawatt. How much could they build out? 5 megawatts based on this investment in that? That's not much, but it's still a great sign that there is investment being made by some of these, like SoftBank and others as well, potentially. So we'll take whatever we can get, but it would have been nice if it would have been like $50 billion if they're investing in the company or something like that. At that point, they would have probably just bought the company out. But nonetheless, this is good news here, okay? And going into our next segment here, which is breaking news. You're not bullish enough. We have a bunch of things to talk about here. So just in, Trump Bitcoin stockpile plans could encourage other central banks to buy Bitcoin, says Standard Chartered Wall Street Journal. Right. Game on. This is a gamification of Bitcoin, basically. We're not bullish enough. We're seeing all this adoption happening, and this is a great thing. So I'm going to try to do this every single stream as well to point out things that are bullish, that are positive in Bitcoin that are happening here. Next here, the state of Montana just introduced a bill for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. It's spreading like wildfire. And yeah, I would agree with that. All these states are just adding one on top of another, on top of another. It'll be interesting to see which state actually becomes like the first to actually put Bitcoin on their balance sheet there. That's going to be awesome to witness, I believe. Next here is breaking. The Central Bank of Norway just bought 500 million indirectly in Bitcoin through MSTR. That's a huge investment there. They also bought into Mara, but much lower, about 40 some odd million there that they purchased into Mara as well. So they're getting into the Bitcoin space, crypto space, whatever you want to call it, Bitcoin mining space as well. Right now you're seeing central banks actually buying these types of investments here, which is bullish again, right? You get one to do it, you'll have other ones to do it as well. It's just one after another after another. That's, a little snowball turns into a huge snowball. Next here, this is huge. Retirement funds about to buy Bitcoin. So this is House Bill 1322. I'm not sure where this is introduced in which house. House bill, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure where that's coming from. But it provides that no later than March 1st, 2026, the Department of Administration shall issue a request for information for purposes of exploring how the use of blockchain technology could be used for a state agency to, 1, achieve greater cost efficiency and cost effectiveness, and 2, to improve consumer convenience, experience data security and data privacy, requires the department to compile a report concerning the request for information, submit the report to the Legislative Council no later than October 1st, 2026, allows funds held by the Public Employees Retirement Fund, the state's teachers' retirement fund, or public officers of the state to be invested in certain Bitcoin exchange traded funds, right? It's a little ways out. Hopefully they get that done a little bit faster than by October of 2026. If we have another cycle like we have in the past with Bitcoin, we could be in a bear market by that time. So hopefully they get this done a little bit faster than that. Unless, because we're having all of this adoption happening right now, that we end up with having an extended cycle. That would be an awesome thing to see. Right, the cycle breaks and we actually have one that goes on for 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it might be. Next story that we're not bullish enough on is now the SEC has approved Bitwise's Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETF as well. Another Bitcoin ETF basically coming out, so more, what could you say, more competition, which is good, more opportunities and more ways for people to get on with Bitcoin. So this is great news there. And then finally, our last one here is Dennis Porter. Big breaking. I can confirm that. We talked about Montana here on this one, didn't we? Yeah, we talked about Montana as well, so I have it in here twice. Sorry. I just noticed that. But big breaking, I can confirm that bill, which enables the state of Montana to invest up to 50 million Bitcoin, digital assets, stablecoins, and precious metals, has been introduced by Representative Lammers and co-sponsored by Representative Schomer there in Montana. So this is all great news. This is what we want. More adoption, more Bitcoin. The more adoption we have, the higher the Bitcoin price is going to go. Right now, Bitcoin is still above 100,000. I think we're looking pretty good here. And we'll see where we get. But this is all great news. I'm not seeing anything that's a negative right now. It's just each day we're seeing more and more of these kind of great news, bullish stories happening for Bitcoin. So I'm all for it. I'm happy about it. Hopefully you guys are too. Yes, the miners haven't done as well as we thought last year, but maybe this is the year that they're going to actually do really well here going forward. As long as Bitcoin, kind of behaves itself and goes up like we think it's going to go up. But time will tell on that one. And that is all I have for you guys. Let's get into the Q&A side of things here. Pretty easy day. Tomorrow's the last day. We'll get some updates for the miners here starting on Monday probably. That will happen with probably, I'm guessing, Bitfarms will report first on Monday. Maybe some others will as well because they had 2 days of the new month of February. And we'll see where things take us at that point. So, as always, for the questions, if you could preface them with a question mark or a Q. I'm going to scroll up a little bit here, see if there's any questions that I have not covered yet. And we'll work our way through it all. So bear with me here a second. Let's see, covered that one already in the comments. Let's see, where are we at? Alrighty. Okay, let's start with here. My average for Bitfarms is around $1.75. Is it possible to see double digits on this? Will they be denied on their business shift to the Americas since they are a Canadian company? Okay, good question there. I think with them buying Stronghold, right, that might give them the optionality there to also move to the United States with their headquarters. That's kind of what we're thinking here, at least. So that would be a good thing. Them getting to 21 exahash by the end of the first half, I think, is going to be also a good thing. They just need to execute, and we'll see how they do on Monday, right? Monday will be a report from them. I mean, they're always great on reporting their operations. They're like the first ones out of the gate. That's fantastic to see, but just we need to see some growth here in January. We'll see if we got any. But can they get double digits? Oh, man. Originally, I thought they would be able to do that. I thought they were going to have more growth here this year. I thought that maybe could get to 35 exahash by the end of the year based on what they had, but they sold off a site in Paraguay here to Hive. That might limit them a little bit, but we'll see what they do. So I'd be happy if we get to like $8 to $10 actually right now. If we get above that, if Bitcoin goes higher than we think, then maybe they could do that as well. But I'm looking a little bit more conservative on them right now. Let's see. Andrew says, huge news for Cipher, rotated a few days ago as Cipher being my biggest holdings after Trump's news of 500 billion being invested into the space, had to find an undervalued American HPC miner. Nice going there. Dan has a question here. BlackRock established a Bitcoin miner ETF. How do you view this? Do they have to buy miner shares to hold much like they do with Bitcoin could be good? Yeah, I think they already bought into it somewhat. So yes, they will have to buy into it. It's just like anything else, any kind of ETF. They buy into the shares of the companies there. Was it Grayscale or was it Grayscale? I can't remember if it was BlackRock or Grayscale. I know I saw that coming out, but I'm not sure which one it is. Let's see here. Talked about that. What else here? What else? Okay. It was Grayscale, not BlackRock. Okay, thank you for the correction there. Yeah, Cipher was up 18 hours in the after hours. Tomorrow they will moon. This is the horse Trump and his Japanese investments are backing. Yeah, but again, 15 million is not a lot. Hopefully it's one of the first investments that they see in that. Through that, let's see. Another question here, Seb. Have you read about European central banks saying they don't plan on making Bitcoin strategic reserve? Thanks. I saw something about that today on X. I think it's short-sighted. They're trying to protect probably the euro there, I'm guessing. But eventually they'll cave. I think you get the United States, the states, well, the individual states doing it as well. I mean, you got other countries buying into it as well. They're going to eventually cave as well. And then questions have you seen the news on Cipher? Yeah, we just talked about it here a little bit as well earlier on. What else do we have here? Okay. Let's see. Question. Bitcoin withstands DeepSeek dip and FOMC volatility. How close is a new all-time high? I think we're getting pretty close. I think we're kind of choppy right now as it is with Bitcoin, but that's just a nice setup for it to go up higher from here. I think by the end of the quarter, we could be at, I'm guessing, north of 120,000. Don't know exactly how high we're going to go, but I'd like to see it like at 135,000. I think that would be great by the end of the quarter. All right. Question, is an extended BTC cycle not good for the miners? That is no parabolic move. Well, that depends, right? How, so there's two things that kind of play into it. If Bitcoin goes up slowly, right, maybe I should do it this way. If it goes up slowly and the network hash rate also goes up slowly, that might be a good thing. Because at that point, if you look at some of the miners right now, some of these miners are making like 100, is it 100 million? Let me take a look at it here. Let's see, Cleanspark's generating right now, based on my numbers here, about 65 million. Mara is like 100 million right now, as it is being at 50 exahash, right? Excuse me about my voice. Let's see, December they made 88 million. So as Bitcoin goes up in price, they're gonna be able to generate more. Plus, if they're growing their hash rate, that should be a good thing. So if it's an extended cycle for a longer period of time, and as long as the network hash rate doesn't go too crazy, then that actually might be a good thing for the miners. Because then if they get, 3 years or 2 years or 3 years, whatever it might be, an extended cycle instead of only 12 to maybe 16 months of it, or maybe even less than that, maybe like 12 months, then they can definitely generate more revenue that way, I think, and have it be extended longer time frame. Okay. Excuse me about my voice. Let's see here. Happy Chinese New Year, everyone. The year of the snake will be great for all of us. Nice. Happy Chinese New Year to you as well. Why some banks buy Bitcoin indirectly through MSTR or Mara instead of buying the ETF? Oh, that is a good question. I'm not sure. Maybe they're looking for the leverage there a little bit, right? We know that MicroStrategy is more of a leverage play on them as well as the miners. So maybe that's why. Maybe they'll try and get as much money as they can out of it. Let's see here. Andrew says, Cipher, Hive, these are the ones for 2025. Yep. I think all the miners will do great. Some might do a little bit better than others. Okay. Let's see. Who reports first? If Cleanspark, when do you think? I think it's going to be either Cleanspark or Hive. Hive already, I think, stated they're like February 11th or something like that. I believe that's what I saw. I think Cleanspark, I don't know exactly when. They haven't provided that information yet. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But it's going to be one of those two that's going to report first. Let's see here. Bitfarms said they will have their Bitmain miners by December, January. Tomorrow is the end of January and still no news. Kind of disappointing. We'll have to wait and see what they report on Monday for the January, right? That'll be a big tell for us at that point. Let's see. Why does IREN go up huge after hours? That I don't know. I don't know if it's just at that point you got retail buying it and not so much on the institution side of things. Okay. Let's see. Question. With Hive going to 25 exahash by year end 2025, are you bullish? That's 4 to 5x and easily 2 billion market cap. I am a lot more bullish on them than I was in the past, right? One of the things that I griped about on them was their lack of ambition and growth and things like that. Well, they shut me up here with this announcement. So congrats to the Hive team. I think that is a fantastic job there. Yeah, that does make me more bullish on them. 25 exahash is nice by the end of the third quarter, right, is what they're targeting here. But the only thing is they're going to have to dilute a little bit, which we kind of knew that, right? To add an additional 10 exahash, I'm thinking about 150 million or so for the miners themselves. But that, they got cash, they got HODL as well. Could they use part of those as two things as well? Yes. And then there's going to be, I'm thinking there's going to be some dilution, but not a lot of dilution to do that as well. Overall, I'm happy with that. That does kind of put them a little bit ahead of Bitfarms, which Bitfarms was going for 21 exahash, right? They're supposed to get there by the end of the first half. We'll see if they can get there. But that does give them a little bit of a boost, but we don't know where Bitfarms is targeting to get to this year. All we know is the 21 exahash here by the end of the first half. But that definitely looks much better for them right now. Let's see. Mike says, or question, Hive is starting to outperform, up 12% today. Hive was up 12% today? Did they come back down a little bit? Did I miss something? Hold on. Maybe I did miss it. Let me see here. Hive, where's Hive on my sheet here? Hive was up 7%. They were up to 314 roughly, 315. Was that 12% today? Maybe not. I'm not sure. Regardless, let's go back to the question here. Let's see. Up 12% today, 25 exahash and 16.5 joules per terahash by September. What are your price targets now on your spreadsheet? A lot of I know they'll be growing When is the first phase of that expansion is April, I believe, and then the second part of it is, I believe, August. So I haven't run the numbers on it yet, and it all depends where Bitcoin's going to go on it. So, I mean, I think even right now, I think that they are undervalued. If you look at their sheet here, I'll show you guys that as well. Here is their sheet. Right now, Hive is at 308 with the numbers for December that we got times 12 months. That Bitcoin just stays where it's at. Now our hash rate stays where it's at. I have them valued at the 941 to 1411. Right. I did increase their PE value because they are grown quite nicely here, about 4x in growth here this year. So that's kind of where I see them. So I do think that they are way undervalued right now as it is, just as a lot of these other miners are as well. So we will see how they do going forward. But I believe that they will do great as well. Okay, let's see here. Riot has 2 activists behind them. Is that going to be a positive or negative for the stock price? Well, you got the activist investors there, yes. They're trying to make Riot move more towards HPC AI, which is great, right? Okay, we can do that, but my concern is, what if there's no demand for that, or at least the demand is much lower than what we think it is? We've only had, like I've said before, Core got CoreWeave. We've also had Hut 8. Hut 8 has some HPCI business there, small amount. Hive does as well. BitDigital has some pretty nice business there. They're generating almost $100 million a year on that. And then you had Hut 8, not Hut 8. TeraWulf, sorry. TeraWulf come out that they got a deal with Core 42. That was a pretty nice deal there, and then that's basically it. Everybody else is still kind of quiet, so I'll be happily surprised if they get something there. But that's kind of, yeah, and I just don't know. I just don't know if there's that much demand out there. Okay, let's see. Asking for a friend has a question. Now that the banks are investing into mining, could you see companies like Berkshire Hathaway, Facebook, Tesla, etc. getting into the game? If so, who most likely? Getting into Bitcoin mining? I don't think those guys will get into Bitcoin mining. Would they be investing in the miners? I doubt they would be investing in the miners. They might invest in Bitcoin. I would maybe see that. Tesla already has Bitcoin on the balance sheet as it is. Okay, let's see. Bitfarms is relocating operations to North America. Better for them as a small miner. Yeah, I mean, they're not that small. Right there at, what is it, 12 exahash right now, I think, based off my memory. And they're growing to 21 exahash. That's still, I mean, smaller compared to some of the other big guys like Marathon at 50 exahash, right? Cleanspark, IREN are both targeting 50 exahash this year as well, plus. So that does bring them down, but that still puts them at like number 4 spot, along with Hive there, right? Number 4 or 5 spot, depending on where each one grows to. Question here, Seb, in an extended cycle, will it not attract more competition, giving more time for new players to enter the market, driving up hash rate and difficulty? Extended cycles means lower entry barrier. That is also, yeah, I would agree with you there, but you do need a lot of capital. You need to also have the megawatts. A lot of these miners already have secured a lot of megawatts here. So that's not going to be easy to get into, because you need the megawatts, and a lot of these guys have the pipeline already to grow to that megawatts. So there's the barrier of entry. I think right there's the megawatts a little bit. If you tie up a lot of it, and then you got the HPCI demand for data centers as well, that's going to tie things up. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but I think it's going to be a good thing for the miners. Let's see here. IREN went up after hours today after the code deal was announced. Purely speculative on the AI miners code deal. I must have missed. I don't know anything about that, so I might have missed something on that one. Okay. What else here? Don't forget Hive's HODL is already 50% of their market cap, much more than Bitfarms. Yes. Yep. Yeah, Digihost is up 111% in the past month. Yeah, they've been rocking and rolling. I wonder if it's that, it's them, right? Digihost is the one that has the deal with this micro or macro, what do they call it? SMRs, small modular reactors. They have a deal there to possibly work with somebody on that. Maybe that's the thing that's driving it there. Angie has a question. Hi, Sub. Have you heard about the future bit Apollo mining a full block on its own? I have not, no. What's your take on this? Do you think it could have a negative impact on Bitcoin mining stocks this cycle? Thanks. No, if they don't belong to a pool, they have their own pool or something like that, they could mine a block on their own. That's not a big deal. But I don't know exact details of that. But it will happen from time to time. We've seen those little, even right there, like the little miners, right? I don't know what they call them, Pico miners, whatever those things are, that they get lucky and they get a block, right? So it happens from time to time. All right, let's see here. Between Hive and Bitfarms, which one has the more upside in terms of stock price? I mean, right now it's tough to say. Both are going to be, well, I think Hive has more growth. I think they're more undervalued. Plus, I think that if they get, well, they're going to the United States to be headquartered there, so we know that's going to happen. I'm thinking, based on the recent developments here, it might be actually Hive, potentially. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Bitfarms could surprise us with some kind of HBCI deal there. So you can never count any one of these guys out. It's always just one good news story away, and they rocket like crazy. Let's see. Question with Cipher. Remember, Trump has convinced SoftBank to commit to $500 billion. We will for sure see favorable tax offerings for the U.S.-based HPC and BTC miners. News coming soon, I'm sure. Well, that would be great. But the initial investment is only like $100 billion, and it can go up to like $500 billion. But it's, yeah, that's a lot there. I don't know if we're going to get to $500 billion there. Question: why is Digihost up 111% over the past month? I think it's the deal that they announced with the small modular reactors company there. I can't remember what the company name is called there, but I think that's part of it. Question here: Trump has been threatening tariffs all day. Mexico, Canada, Brazil, India, China, and Dixie, and 10-year yield is going up. Usually bad for BTC. What do you think is keeping BTC from dropping more? Adoption. I mean, you're just seeing a heck of a lot more adoption happening here. I think that's the only thing there. Okay, and it says code deal. I mean, Cipher deal. Why is IREN up? Maybe because it bodes well for IREN possibly as well there. That might be why. Let's see. Hello, so many miners have projects finishes in the second or third quarters. Do you think the miners could peak this time at the end of the year, unlike last cycle? Thank you. Last cycle was different. Last cycle, we got to 63,000, something like that. And then we had the China news come out that they're banning Bitcoin mining. I think that was a catalyst that drove things down. We also had Elon Musk and his company Tesla say that they're not allowing Bitcoin payments on their vehicles anymore because of the carbon output from Bitcoin mining and things like that, which was a bunch of BS on that. And then we went back up to 69,000 in, what was it, November, I think it was, of that year. So it was a double top, basically, that we had, which we never had that before. Now, this cycle, I think, is going to be more in line with what we've seen in the past, where it was like the 2017 cycle, where Bitcoin, the thought is, fingers crossed, that we're going to be in a similar cycle like that, where Bitcoin just goes up through the end of the year, which I think we might actually top out around September, October, actually. And the reason I think that is because we had the halving event happen in April, where before it was May and June that we've had those, so those were a little bit longer out cycles that way. Okay, what else we got here? Let's hear. Simi, what's up with Cipher? Up almost 20% after hours over just a $50 million investment from SoftBank. What am I? Yeah, it's HBCI play again. Pumping the stock up. So that's kind of the talk there. Maybe is there something actually there where they do have a deal with a hyperscaler or something like that? But again, the $50 million I think would be, it's not much when you think about it. At $8 million per megawatt or something like that, that's 10 to 12 megawatts or something like that to build something out. It's not much. Let's see. Trying to see if I question. Okay, here we go. Seb, rumors FTX CEO could be pardoned by Trump. Do you know anything about it? Answer: what kind of message will send to crypto community? I don't think he's going to get pardoned. Also, yeah, I just don't see that happening. But maybe I'm wrong on that. that was a black eye on the crypto community, basically, what FTX did. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's see. Sour Melon Gaming says, folks, stay out of Bitfarms. Saw in the recent filing the merger will be delayed up until August now. They can never hit the targets. What a disaster. Really? Was that in there? Because I heard somebody else say that was May. Somebody else, I think, says it was May. Let's see, take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. Go here, BITF. Let's see, Bitfarms, latest filings. You're talking about the latest filings, so this was probably from their report of foreign securities, material change. This was the press release terms. That was the deal that they did with Hive there, the first one. Okay, let me go back here. And I think you're talking about this one here, the prospectus, right here. Let's see, do we have anything here on August? Control F. Nope, don't want to do that. Control F, August. There's no mention of August here in the prospectus. There's no mention of May. Okay, we got May here. Forward-looking statements, that's just May, not the month. It's just the, what is that, adverb, adjective, whatever the heck they call that. There's nothing for May. Let's see. Sale? No. Sale. So that's just Yaguza, Bitfarms entered binding. That, I mean, that's just all about the sale of its site in Paraguay. I don't see anything else about, let's see if we got anything for Stronghold. Stronghold, we got one of two. See, internationally by year-end 2025 when coupled with acquisition of Stronghold and the next, which is expected to close in the next couple of months. I mean, that's all we have there. Where are you guys getting like May and August from this? I just don't see it. So I don't see it in here anywhere. Yep, unless I'm missing something, but I just don't see it right now. Okay, let's get back to the Q&A here. All right, so we dispelled that FUD right there. Can Cleanspark cross $64? I would love to see it go that high. My original price target was like $60, $70 for them. Can they still get there? I think because you're going to have to be like at 250,000 at that point in order for them to get there, potentially. And that's if the shorts get off their back there. But that might be tough. But I'd love to see it, though. I think now, I mean, I'd be happy with like $40, $50 on the stock. If we get to 60, I'm going to love it. Let's see. Pitt says, knowing a lot of people lost money during his scams. You're talking about FTX there, I think. Has Cleanspark released when their earnings call is? Not yet. I haven't seen anything yet. Let's see here. Sebas, in the 2017 cycle, the bear trap of Bitcoin lasted about 30 plus days before the 13% breakout. 2021 cycle, the bear trap lasted a little bit more than 40 days. Breakout should happen very soon. Okay. Yeah, so it's just an accumulation phase, basically, right? We're seeing that right now. Okay. Do you think it would be wise to go all in on CORZ at current price? All in? Not financial advice as always, but I don't know if you'd be wise to go all in on one. Spread it out a little bit, I think would be better. You know, get a little, I mean, CORZ says HPC AI, Bitcoin mining. Get one that's maybe a pure play miner there and something that's maybe a smaller miner as well. Spread it out. Going all in on one, I mean, that's up to you though. Let's see, what is the closest earnings release for a miner? I believe Hive is going to be like February 11th or 12th. I thought I saw that. Cleanspark should be right around that time frame as well. Both of those companies don't have the end of the years now for Q4, which then allows them to go out faster with their quarterly results because they're not audited. Everybody else is going to have audited results, so it's going to take a little bit longer for that. What else? Is the graph for CORZ still bullish? I'm going to look at the graph. The graph, I mean, they got beaten down here on Monday like crazy. But the big thing for them is the revenue that they're going to be generating from CoreWeave starting in like the second half of this year. So that's going to be the catalyst that's going to drive them there. Plus, if they can change out some of the older machines for mining with the block machines going in there, right, that's going to be a good thing there as well. So those two things I think are going to be driving the catalyst going forward as well. But even without that, the stock has been doing much better than some of the other miners have, just based on that revenue potential that's going to be happening there. What are your thoughts on Grayscale ETF for miners? I know that they own a lot of Marathon in there, some CleanSpark, IREN, and Hut 8, I think, are like the top 4 there. If I'm not mistaken, Riot is another one there. So I think it's pretty good. Okay. All right. What do you think about Mara? Is it next MicroStrategy? Do you hold it? If not, then why? Okay. I love what I'm seeing here from Mara here recently in the last 2 months. Their operations have been much better. The reason I don't hold it is because their operations in the past have been not that great. And that's kind of being very, very kind to them, I think. So based on that, that's the reason why I don't hold it. I think it will do great going forward. Will it become the next MicroStrategy? It seems like they're positioning or pivoting towards that. They've been buying like crazy Bitcoin here recently. Maybe it was just for a short term. Don't know, right? Are they being valued on the HODL that they have right now like MicroStrategy is? Nope. So I just don't know. I really do not know on that one if they will be valued like MicroStrategy will be. Let's see. Hi, Seb. Would it be possible to schedule this live stream ahead of time sometime during the day? Thanks. That's a little tough for me. I work during the day, so I do this after work, after I spend time with my kids, have dinner, spend time with my family, and then I get to looking to see what I want to talk about. So it's kind of tough to do that. Yeah, that's not going to be possible, I don't think. Okay, let's see here. Seb, when do you plan to get out of the miners? Are you planning on holding them this entire year? I'm hoping that that's not the case. Original goal was to start dollar cost averaging out of the miners when Bitcoin got to 100,000, but the miners didn't do what I thought they were going to do. I thought when Bitcoin gets to 100,000, the miners were going to be doing much better. So they were lagging way behind. But what's the reason for that? I'm guessing it was because of shorts, the leverage plays on those guys. So now the thought process is, let's see where Bitcoin is at when Bitcoin's at 150,000. See where the miners are at that point. Also, we should be seeing really good quarterly results for a lot of the miners for Q4. Maybe at that point, I'm going to start dollar cost averaging, but I do not want to hold these. If I'm up 100% on these guys and that's all I'm at, okay, well, I'm up 100% and so be it. Okay. What is your opinion on Riot's 20% acquisition of Bitfarms? I feel as it's not relatively known. Has this been priced in? For Riot, I think it's been priced in. I think it's also been priced in for Bitfarms. That's kind of why Bitfarms stock has been kind of underperforming here. Plus, it's their own mishaps as well. Not getting to 21 exahash by the end of the year. That was a mishap. So it's kind of self-inflicted a little bit by Bitfarms there. And with the, activist investors at Riot now, the 2 of them there, they might press them to get out of that. Use that money to use that for HPCI. So maybe that's what's been happening here recently, that they've been selling that. I don't know. I don't know if they have to report that they've been selling the shares like they did when they were buying the shares. I don't know if that's the case. Okay, let's see here. So if I had to put my money on one miner apart from CleanSpark and IREN, which one would you choose? It'd be a toss-up right now for me between like Hive, Bitfarms, and Mara possibly. Cipher's doing pretty good today because of the 50 million investment from SoftBank. So like I said, it's just you're one good news PR story away from having these guys rock it. So it's kind of tough. Let's see. Follow up to the question before, do you think a few other ETFs will surface and CleanSpark will bolster a nice addition if hash gets to 50 soon? I think there might be some other ETFs. We already have a couple. We have right now that I track at least. You got BitQ, BKCH, DAP, WGMI. Now you got the miners one as well from Grayscale. So you got a couple already there. I don't know how many more you need, to be honest. And then, let's see, what was the other part of the question here? Surface and CleanSpark will bolster a nice addition if it has hash gets to 50 soon. Yeah, if it gets to 50 soon, I think that'd be great, right? They're at 37 right now. It's another 13 exahash. That would be great. Let's see. One says, I believe Riot will explode under $80 in paper numbers. Riot has the half of its entire market cap of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin breaks up in the next days, I believe Riot will perform much higher this time. That might be the case. Same with Mara and Cleanspark. Anybody else that has a nice huddle position there. Okay, let's see. When this year do you think you will see a breakout on miners? The gap between WGMI and BTC gains is huge now. I would expect it to happen here within the next month or so. The reason for that is the quarterly results are going to be coming out for Q4. A lot of these guys that have a hodl position will be able to use the FASB rules to value their Bitcoin much higher from the start of the prior quarter. That should be added to the bottom line for the EPS as well. That's going to be a good catalyst there, I think. Let's see. Sarmelon says, question here. Here's words for word and filing. The merger's date contains an outside date of May 21st, 2025 for the completion of the merger, which may be extended to August 21st, 2025, either by Stronghold or Bitfarms. Where was that at? Because I looked for August and I looked for May, and nowhere is it. Excuse me. Is it in the latest thing that we looked at as well in the prospectus? Did I miss something? Was it the 28th maybe effect? Let's take a look at this one. No, that's the same thing. Prospectus from the, let's see here. This is on August 20th. Let's see this. Well, there's a lot of Stronghold in here. Here, I'm looking at this one here. This was put out. When did this one get put out? I'm not sure. Excuse me. Let's look for August. Well, there's a lot of words in August here. 2024, 2024. 2024, 2020. Let's see if we can find anything for 2025. Maybe that might be easier to go. There's 95 of those. Oh, geez. Okay. I'm not sure where you're getting that at, or which filing also. Is it Stronghold filing or Bitfarms filing? But I just don't see that. They were talking about that's supposed to finish out this quarter when they were supposed to complete the buyout of Stronghold. I'm not sure why they would put that out all the way to, let's see, let me take a look here on what you had on here. Let's see, August 21st. Okay, let's see if we find that. May 21st. Okay, let's go back here. So let's see if we can find it here. Control F, May 21st, 2025. When will the merger be completed? Okay, here it is. Stronghold and Bitfarms are working to complete the merger as quickly as possible in addition to obtaining any required regulatory approvals. And assuming that the merger proposal is approved by Stronghold shareholders at this special meeting, other important conditions to the completion of the merger agreement contains an outside date, just an outside date of May 21st for the completion of the merger, which may be extended to August. The merger agreement contains an outside date of May 21st. So that's kind of like the further out. Was that also in the previous ones, the prospectus and those things? If it was, then maybe that's a nothing burger. But we'll have to wait. Consuming the merger has not occurred on or before 5 p.m. Yeah, if it hasn't occurred on or before May 21st, it can be extended out even more. Let's see. Registration February 21st. Stronghold approval has not been obtained today. Okay. Extended to August 21st. So it can be out to that. But I think they're trying to get it done still in this first quarter. But we'll see. Yeah. That wouldn't be a good sign if Bitfarms actually moves the date out a couple more months like they did with their hash rate goals. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. What else do we have here? Do CORZ dilute as well? Yes. Yes, they do. Okay. What else? Do you think Riot surpasses its previous all-time high of $77? Bitcoin needs to be probably like 250,000 at that point, I think, in order for it to surpass it, just like some of the other guys, right? And then also with them not expanding their Bitcoin mining now, they put a pause on it because they're looking into HPC AI. How long does that search last? Is it a month or two? Is it 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months? If it's like 6 months, even in like 3 months or 6 months, they're going to be behind the ball in getting Bitcoin miners installed and growing their hash rate. So that might not be good there, but if they do get an HPCI deal there, that might be worth it. But then again, you're going to be building out, it's going to be until sometime next year, which if we have a regular cycle, well, Bitcoin might top out in September, October of this year, and then you lost all that positive there possibly. Let's see, what is the FASB rule? The FASB rule stipulates, now it's a new rule that came out last year that was optional for companies to take advantage of if they wanted to, but it's, I think, mandatory now, I think, in the new year. That basically, it's mark-to-market valuation on cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and others as well. So in the past, it was wherever the Bitcoin, whatever was the lowest price of Bitcoin in the quarter is what they had to report. Now they can actually report the end of the quarter numbers for Bitcoin value on the balance sheet there. So it gives them a big incentive to hodl, right? We saw Tesla report that they had $600 million gains on the hodl position that they have there in Q4. I'm expecting a lot of that to be also with some of the miners here. Cleanspark, Riot, Hut 8, who else? Mara as well, right? Those guys have huge hodl positions. That should bode well for them. That should also come down to the bottom line for the EPS as well. Okay. All right. Okay, JN says, yeah, outside date. The outside date is a date where both parties have agreed in advance that if the merger or acquisition has not yet completed, either side can terminate the merger agreement. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of like giving yourself a window to get it done in a certain amount of time. Let's see. Unlikely Riot selling Bitfarms at a loss, don't you think? Well, they were buying them at right around these price ranges. Remember, they gave them, what was it, like a 25% premium only there, I think. They offered them $2.30. So they were buying them at these levels back then. I don't know what their actual average cost is on it, but it's right around these levels. Okay. Let's see here. If BTC gets to 170, 180,000, Cleanspark performs well, what do you think the minimum share price would be? Well, 180,000 was my original estimate for Bitcoin before we had all of this adoption happening and the ETFs coming on board as well. I'm thinking we're going to be probably north of 200,000 this cycle, if it's a regular cycle like we've had in the past. But if we get to 170,000, that's 70% from where we are right now, 70 to 80%. At that point, I would at least, at the very bare minimum, I would think that the miners would do at least a 2x to maybe a 3x from that as well. So that's kind of where I would think they would be, but we'll see. And now when they've been beaten down and held down by short sellers and leverage plays as well. Okay. What are your thoughts on the AI sentiment? How long will it take to fade? Well, will it fade? I don't think it's going to fade anytime soon. I think AI has a lot of potential in many different aspects of not only our lives, but for states, defense, security, all of that stuff. So I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I think it's just going to continue to grow like crazy here because as you get more and more applications and things like that, there's just a lot of advantages to having AI in general. So that's not going away. But as far as when will it fade from like the miners with all of their, I wouldn't say promises, I would just say all the potential that they have there, that I don't know if it will ever fade, if it's going to be a continuation. As long as we see AI going up, that is always going to be swirling around the miners as well, I think. Let's see. Okay, let's see. All right, I think I've caught up to all your guys' questions here. Pitt just says a lot of opportunities cost in the miners, so some of us might sell early and regret. Yeah, there's always opportunity cost with anything that you do, right? Miners are very volatile. They're risky. We know that. Getting into this, or at least I hope you guys know that, getting into it, right? You're probably better off putting it into, if you don't want to be anything that's risky, put it in the S&P 500 or something like that, and just buy into that over 20 years, and you're going to do very well as well. So, I just don't, I'll leave it at that. Question, sorry, I meant China FUD AI. Oh, you're talking about DeepSeek. I think it's DeepSeek. DeepSeek there. That's going to take a couple of days, couple of weeks maybe for it to blow over, unless we really do get some definitive answers from them, which I doubt we will. Okay, let's see. What's the longest you would hold? I've been holding since basically been buying these guys. When did I start buying? In 2022. I didn't know where the bottom was going to be in Bitcoin at that time, so I just started dollar cost averaging into it. So I've been in it since that time, and because of doing that dollar cost averaging, I've been actually still able to be in the green right now. And all of these guys, even though they've been coming down like crazy, but that has helped out. I probably could have, maybe should have sold at Cleanspark got to like 200 or 20 some dollars or something like that. Probably should have done that, but you just don't know where things are going. And I've learned my lesson in the past that my timing is not great. So I've tried to time it before where I would sell something at a higher price. It would come down 5% and went back up another 15, 20, 30%. So it's like, okay, we're not at the peak of the cycle yet. At least what I'm doing is just dollar cost averaging in until we get closer to that peak there. Let's see. Question, BitDeer, chances of getting a good HPC deal. They were in talks and their power generation is huge. Stargate, possibly there as well. Yeah, BitDeer has done really well here in the last, I would say, 6 months or so. Anything's possible there. Let's see here. Mark says, read my comment too, said, please, where's your second quarter? Oh, there we go. Mark says, I don't trust anything Bitfarms says anymore. So shady purchase of Stronghold got delayed again. Well, we don't know. They first said first quarter 2025, then they said second quarter. Now they say August. I think that's just legalese content in there right now. I wouldn't go too crazy on that details. But we'll see. Maybe we can press Ben and company there on X to see if they can actually clarify if they're still planning on getting that done in the first quarter. Sorry guys, my throat was getting dry. Okay, read your comment there. Let's see, Bitfarms has repeatedly said the Stronghold acquisition is on track to close in Q1, subscribing FUD. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've been seeing also. So, I think we'll call it a day there. We'll leave it at this. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm not expecting much. Hopefully Bitcoin at least stays up for the month of January here, which would be nice. If we continue to see that, and then we'll see historically February. Let's take a look at February here. Historically, February has been a really good month for Bitcoin. I am looking forward to that one. You can see here last year we were up 43%. The year prior we were up only 3%. Prior to that we were up 12%, 36%. We were down 8% in 2020. 2019, 11%, up just a little bit here in 2018. And then 2017, 23%, 2016, 20%, 2015, 18%, 2014 we were down 31%, but 2013 we were up 61%. It has a high percentage of being a really good month for Bitcoin. So that might be the month where we go to 130,000, 135,000, whatever it might be at that point. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do in February. February is also a shorter month, which means miners will generate a little bit less because we're going to be short like 3 days out of that month. But we know what that's going to be. All right, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. Everything else, we'll cover it. I'll try to provide you guys with some good news stories, updates on continuation of adoption and everything else. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming in. Love you all.